Uh, Thank you so much, and a blessed evening to each and everyone. I just would like to say that this is a topic wherein we have come to a question on on ourselves about what is really God's mind and heart. And when we understand that, then we put ourselves in the right place. Order is not when everything is right, but when everything is in their proper places. Wholeness is not when everything is complete or perfect, but when every part of the piece of our life or aspect of our life has meaning. And love is not about having, it's about being. So when we understand that in the eyes of God, we come to understand more fully what it means for us to respond to the situation, and not to respond because it is something general. Sometimes we respond in a general way. Sometimes we respond uh, in basing it on our own reason. Sometimes reason does not apply when it comes to God. That's the reason why he does not promote reason, he promotes wisdom. When he promotes wisdom, it has to come with our experience with God and how God communicates with us. And thank you very much, Brother Jess, for having to give us that wonderful again and again that wonderful exposition about the Ten Commandment. The commandment from which we come to really need to look what God has created and what man has recreated. you know I always echo this sociologist friend of mine who would always say man has destroyed God's creation. Man has destroyed God's creation for man. When we talk about civilization, he would always say there are three indications of civilization. First, he said, garbage. Second, traffic. And third, crime. This is the loss of God's creation for humanity, because it is the loss of God's purpose. Garbage is the loss of God's creation, mainly because when God created the world, everything comes in a full circle. You know, there nothing is wasted. But when we talk about garbage, there's so much waste in around us, to the point even relationship becomes wasted, even our past becomes wasted. It no longer becomes a meaningful history, and at the same time, even our relationships are wasted, and at the same time, the world is being wasted also. So that is the meaning of garbage. The loss of God's gift of creation. When water evaporates, it goes down again and feeds the plants and feeds humanity, and animals and plants feed you know man himself. And then when man dies, it goes to the ground and feeds the ground for more life. But not with man. We end up wasting. The second part is the loss of God's gift of time. There's so much traffic, the point that it becomes a domino effect. you know and that's the reason why people want to do a lot of things in life, but they end up without meaning, so they don't find wholeness. I'm talking about each and every one of us when we don't reflect about life, and we just go and recklessly go about it. And that's the reason why we have to look back, what is God's purpose in our time. And that is what it means when we go back to the Bible about the history, not history, just history of man, but the history of salvation. It continues to repeat itself because we do not learn the lesson from God. And the last one is the loss of God's gift of relationship when we do crime. That's I do believe why God gave us the Ten Commandments. We are, because of greed, because of selfishness, because of our own way of thinking for ourselves, in behalf of ourselves, we create this sinfulness. The first original sin. We thought about ourselves and not of God, to the point that crime is we offend, not only offend, destroyed life itself, which God has given, and love is lost along the way. Love is lost to the point that generations have lost what God has put for us, and that's the reason why, being as Christians, we have to look back, so that we would not end up destroying civilization, as my friend would always say. Let's go back to God. Thank you very much.